Right then, welcome back to the channel. Stephen Howson. Time for an England preview. England obviously opening fixture against Iran this weekend, tomorrow in fact, and it's obviously both opening games for both Iran and England. On paper, this is the sort of game that you do expect England to sort of steamroll the Iranians and manage to get a decent result. But Iran are a very interesting side. They have got a few decent players. They've got one in particular that's absolutely bagging goals. And they've got a head coach that's got bags of ability and experience. And he's kind of known for making his teams very well organised. Now, it's Iran's 6th ever World Cup appearance. It is their 3rd on the bounce. They narrowly missed out on qualification to the knockouts in Russia. They only finished a point behind Spain and Portugal. And getting to the knockouts is something that they've never achieved before. This won't be an easy game for England, and this will be a lot more difficult than people are anticipating it's going to be. If they catch England cold, they could definitely cause an upset in here. Now, Iran have experimented with numerous different formations over the years, but in more recent friendlies, where they've had very tight games and some pretty good results, they've been sort of favouring a 4-3-3. And these friendlies include a 1-0 win against Uruguay, which I think was a little bit of an upset, and a 1-1 draw with Senegal, the AFCON winners. 4-3-3 looks like it's going to be the likely option because even though I expect a quite defensive and organised performance, they've got a lot of attacking talent that England are going to need to respect. I think it will be a bit of a counter-attacking sort of setup, but because of how good some of those attacking players are, England can't switch off. If they do switch off, they're definitely going to get caught with this one. And they showed in the last World Cup that they're going to play with heart, they're going to play with intensity, and they've always kind of been organised, and that's never been more true than when Carlos Queiroz is the man that's in the dugout. Like I said, they could cause England a lot of problems. They have played with a variety of different defensive patterns at the back. They've gone with a lot more increased pressure and pressing up front, and the midfield players cover spaces like madmen. Azatole in the last game against Senegal covered nearly 13 kilometres, so you know that this is a team that's going to work its socks off if nothing else. The energetic midfield, the lethal forward line, and a team that is going to be organised and set up to play on the counter could be the nightmare that starts England's campaign off with even like a 0-0. Would be an absolute disaster for an England team coming into this. This is what I think the predicted 11 is going to look like. I'm not going to read all the names out because I'll butcher them and I'm not going to do that. But the star man is going to be Mehdi Taremi. And Taremi is no doubt Iran's star man. He's got 13 goals, 8 assists so far this season, and since joining Porto he's got 62 goals and 43 assists in only 115 games. Damn. And if Iran are going to do well in this group, it's going to be because Taremi has scored goals, and he can definitely score goals. He'll be the talisman up front, who I expect would cause all sorts of problems for Harry Maguire. And he's a tall striker, he can head, he can finish, he can also dribble effectively and pass clinically. Sometimes that's why you see him played wider or even a little bit deeper, but I think against England, he will play as the 9 in a forward 3, because I think that England's defence is undoubtedly the weakest part of England's team. They've got world-class or world-class potential players in a number of positions, but the defence is the bit where everyone kind of goes, ooh, a little bit with England. On England, starting 11-wise, I think Pickford will be in net, and I expect it's probably likely to be a back 3 of Maguire, Dyer and Stones. Trippier and Shaw as the wing-backs, giving a little bit of a set-piece threat as well. Rice and Bellingham, with some decisions here, but I think it's probably going to be Mason Mount that gets the nod in that creative kind of role. And then I think it will be Kane. And I think he's got a massive decision here. Personally, I would go with Rashford. Personally, I wouldn't go with the back 3, but I'm trying to do it as how I think Southgate's going to do it rather than how I would do it. I would go with Rashford because I think he offers a lot more than what Sterling does. But I think it's going to be all faithful. This is Gareth Southgate after all. This is the most missionary position of a team that you're ever going to see. So Sterling and Kane up front, that'll be how it goes. And I think the match winner for England, there's only one. Look, I think Bellingham's a decent one, but I think Harry Kane will be the reason. If England get, even if it's just a scruffy penalty or something, he does manage to find a way to score goals, and it will be a tight game. Iran are going to show up sharp. They're going to make it tight for England. I think it could be similar to England-Tunisia in the 2018 World Cup. And I think they're going to be frustrated right until the dying embers of the game, where Kane might be able to come up with a winner. He is 2 goals away from equaling Wayne Rooney's all-time goal scorer record. He does like to drop deep, and that's why I would partner him with Rashford up front, because you're going to need someone to stretch the defence. Otherwise, it's very easy to contain a defence that just wants to. It's very easy to contain an attack line with a defence if no one in that attack line wants to try and penetrate. But he also has an excellent ability to wait for chances in the box, especially when the team's short up shop. He does have a knack of managing to score goals against low box. How do England beat them? Patient in the build-up. Don't give away possession too much. Certainly don't give away possession too frequently when you're on the halfway line, because the pace and power that they've got, they will get in behind you, and they're not going to need many chances to score. You fully expect England to dominate the build-up and dominate possession. I would expect Bellingham and whoever plays with him are going to be on the ball so much that they're going to have loads of opportunities to find stuff, and it's got to be patient from them, because if they start rushing it, start panicking, start getting to the 70th, 80th minute and it's maybe 0-0, that's when Iran are probably going to sit, take the ball off you and go and score a goal and get all 3 points. So you've got to watch for that. Sterling could be a good option, and you might have Grealish being a good option when a team's in a low block to just start running at people, especially in and around the D. If you can get Trippier on a free kick, I would fancy his chances. But England do have the quality. This is the sort of game where it's down to having nerve, having composure and having confidence. If you just go about your jobs and do it in a controlled manner, you're probably going to come up with the 3 points. If you make mistakes, you panic, you allow them to get in your face, you could end up with an egg on your face with this one. And the most important for England thing, I think, is going to be cutting the counter out, because if you don't cut the counter out, you're going to be in trouble. Should Iran find themselves still in the game in the last 10 or 15 minutes, I think that the panic in England could finish them off, and I think that they'll be looking forward to that, Iran. I think that's definitely going to be something that they are playing for. They're clinical on the counter. Listen, give us your predictions. Who do you expect to be the big ones for England? Do you think Rashford will feature, or do you think it'll be Sterling? Let me know all that sort of stuff in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.